Hello, and thank you for listening to this episode of the Moore's October Rants. Today's episode is going to be titled Internet Insults and Internet Drama. I've been thinking a lot lately about the way I sometimes get pulled into internet drama. You know how it goes. You're just minding your own business online, and then out of nowhere, you find yourself in the middle of a mess. And usually, insults are right there along with it, almost like they're drama's sidekick. It's like one fuels the other. Either drama leads to insults, or someone starts throwing shade for no reason. And before you know it, things blow up into full on chaos. It's this cycle that's just everywhere online, and it's easy to get caught up in it without even realizing it. I'm trying to get better at not falling for the bait because, honestly, it's just exhausting. Here's the thing: when someone insults you, it's natural to want to respond. It feels personal. Whether it's a stranger or someone you know, the instinct is to defend yourself, set the record straight, or clap back with something that shuts them down. But I've started asking myself, what's the point? Because in most cases, nothing good comes out of it. You might feel better in the moment, but long term, it doesn't solve anything. I've been working on recognizing that impulse and figuring out better ways to handle it. Let me give you an example. A little while back, I was in a video chat room talking with a close friend of mine. She's a woman I've known for a while, and we chat regularly. These chat rooms are public, so anyone with an account can join. We were just having a normal conversation, talking about whatever came to mind, when this random guy joined the room. At first, he just sat there, not saying anything, which was fine. I mean, it's public, so people can come and go as they please. For about 10 minutes, he just listened to our conversation. Then, completely out of nowhere, he started going off on me. He was accusing me of bothering her, saying I was asking too many questions, and then the insults started flying. He was calling me names, getting louder, and clearly trying to provoke me. The whole thing felt so bizarre because my friend and I were just having a normal chat, and suddenly this guy was acting like he needed to defend her from me. It would have been so easy to lash out and start firing back at him. I mean, who wouldn't feel the urge to stand up for themselves in a situation like that? But instead, I decided to keep my cool. I told him I didn't care about his opinion, pointed out that I didn't even know him, and refused to engage further. I think I might have thrown in a simple be quiet or something like that, but I didn't let it escalate. Looking back, I'm glad I handled it that way because in the past, I've let myself get dragged into those kinds of arguments, and it's always turned into a waste of time. It's so tempting in the moment, though. When someone's being rude or disrespectful, there's this rush of adrenaline. You want to hit back, maybe even harder than they hit you. And sure, it can feel good in that split second to tell someone off, but once the dust settles, you're left wondering what it was all for. Nothing changes. That person doesn't walk away thinking, wow, they really put me in my place. I should rethink my actions. No, they just double down on whatever negative opinion they already had about you. And honestly, you probably walk away feeling worse than when you started. It's like arguing facts with someone who's already made up their mind. I've talked about this before, how if someone's deeply committed to a belief, even if it's completely wrong, no amount of evidence is going to sway them. They're set in their ways, and presenting facts only makes them dig their heels in further. The same goes for internet arguments. If someone decides they don't like you or they're determined to provoke you, nothing you say is going to change their mind. It's like shouting into the void. My brother actually gave me a great analogy about this. He said trying to reason with people like that is like trying to argue with someone who's drunk. When someone's drunk, they're not in a rational state of mind. They're impulsive, emotional, and not thinking clearly. You could sit there all night trying to explain something to them, but it won't make a difference. They're just not in the right frame of mind to hear you. And when I think about it, that's exactly what it feels like when you argue with trolls or hostile people online. They're not interested in understanding your perspective. They're not there to have a meaningful conversation. They're there to cause chaos. Ever since he said that, I've been using it as a kind of mental trick to keep myself calm. When someone insults me or tries to start drama online, I just imagine they're drunk. Not literally drunk, of course, but acting with the same lack of control and judgment that a drunk person might have. And honestly, it makes it a lot easier not to take their words personally. It's not about me, it's about whatever's going on with them. That guy in the chat room is a perfect example. After the whole thing blew over, my friend told me he's done this kind of thing before. Apparently, he has a habit of jumping into conversations, getting overly aggressive, and saying random, unrelated things. At one point, he started talking about his shoe size, completely out of the blue. No one had asked, and it had nothing to do with the conversation. That's when it clicked for me. This guy might have some mental health issues, and that's something I've been thinking about more lately. The internet gives everyone a voice, and while that's great in some ways, it also means that people who are struggling with mental health issues have the same access. Some of these people might not have the tools or awareness to interact in a healthy way, and that can lead to situations like this. It's not an excuse for bad behavior, but it's a reminder not to take it personally. They're not really attacking me. They're dealing with their own challenges, and it just happens to spill out online. That said, I do think there's a bigger conversation to be had about whether everyone should have unlimited access to the internet. The internet is such a powerful tool, and if someone can't use it responsibly, whether because of mental health issues or something else, it can cause a lot of harm. That doesn't mean people with mental health challenges shouldn't be online. Everyone's different, and many people are perfectly capable of being self aware and mindful, even if they're struggling. But for those who can't, there should be some kind of support or guidance to help them navigate it better. Uh, for me, I've decided the best approach is to stick to my brother's analogy. I assume everyone trying to start drama or insult me online is drunk. They're not thinking straight, they're not in control, and nothing I say is going to make a difference. So instead of engaging, I'll laugh it off, give them a casual okay, or just let them vent until they lose steam. Sometimes people just want to be heard, even if what they're saying is hurtful or irrational. It's not always easy, but it's definitely better for my peace of mind. At the end of the day, arguing with these people doesn't accomplish anything. It doesn't change their opinion of me, and it doesn't make me feel any better. So why bother? By treating it like background noise and moving on, I can keep my focus on the things that actually matter. Anyways, thank you for listening to this episode of the Moore's October Rants. Signing out. Have a good one, guys. Goodbye.